This is code.org, and this is our code feed quiz project thing of awesomeness. We're going to get going on the feeling inspired aspect of this project. Let's take a look. Try adding another question or two. Slow down, I will do one. And to do that, I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to go into text mode. Don't worry if you have those are missing those gray boxes, by the way, they're not important. I'm going to do Control C or right click copy. And then I'm going to paste, and I'm going to call this question 4. Back to block mode, and I'm going to choose a few new images. And so I did what sport you will be best at, and I used the basketball icon, the bicycle icon, hourglass for running, and cutlery for competitive eating. Now keep in mind, I need to flip over these values too, because I don't want this answer question 3, answer 3. I also am going to need to create a new screen. So I'm going to head over to screen 3. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate their quiz screen for a 4. Now this is going to be wildly confusing because how this is designed. First, I'm on screen 1. That's my new duplicate. It says screen 1. I'm going to rename it to be question 4 screen. Here's the problem. We want to be able to set the button we want to interact with. We want to interact button 1, 2, 3, depending on their choice, right? A, B, C. We want to be able to know to set the question, the answer text, and we want to be able to set the image here. So we need to gather all the IDs of those, and they're not preset. We would also need to set the question up here. I'll start with that. That one's kind of easy, and I'll say question 4. That's the text for question 4. Now, when I go down here, guys, the buttons are covering everything. What I mean by that is they are transparent, but they laid them over everything. That way, if a user clicks on an answer or an image, it still executes the on event or on button click function, whether they're clicking an answer text or the image itself. However, that makes it really hard for us to figure out what all of this is called. So button 1 is going to be button 4A. Button 2 would be button 4B, right? Because A, B, C. Button 3 is button 4C. And button 4 is button 4D. Okay, there's those. But we need to get the information behind these. And these, again, are laying over top of everything. I can show you by flipping the background color. I'm going to get rid of 1, 0, and that will make it no longer transparent. That's the actual size of this button. So what I'm going to do now that I can see it, is I'm pulling it over here. Now, let's see what I just grabbed. Now, I'm not sure exactly. I think, notice the lines here. This might be their background image. It is. I find this thing annoying, and I keep clicking it on accident, so I'm killing it. Goodbye, background image. Okay, great. Now, it looks like I have the actual image that I am going to want, and I'm going to label that. And so I'm going to follow their convention with images, which would be to do image, and this is going to be 4D, because that's the answer it is. And then their answer, I'm going to call this answer 4D. Now I'm going to have to move back over this button that was supposed to be over everything, and add back that it has very low opacity, so it's transparent. I now need to do that for each one of these to have this work properly. It's pretty frustrating. Boop, boop. Let me make sure I renamed that button, though. Where are we? That's my button. That's this button. Yep, 4C. And now I can keep going. So this is going to be image 4C, and this is going to be answer 4C. I'm going to go ahead and keep doing this through all of these, and I'll pause and explain when I am done. Okay. That should be all of them. And then I have this. I'm going to change the text of this so I can see it. Great. And I already called that question 4. So I now should be able to set everything on my question screen. So now I'm going to head back over here. And here's my question 4 stuff. I retitled this, so the ID for that is question 4. And I know that I set answers up as well. I just need to flip all of these to 4 so they match the IDs that I just set for these guys under the buttons. And then my buttons were and 4D. Okay, that's looking good. What's this mad about? Oh, I have an extra semicolon. Okay, let's kill that. All right, let me see how this is going thus far. Oh, I have to make sure it actually goes here. which it does not currently. Oh, I have one of those there too. Odd. And so at the end of question 3, I go to final results. I'm actually going to copy this method, Control C, and paste. And then what I'm going to do at the end of question 3, I need a question 4. I'm going to set screen at the end of question 3 to question 4 screen and get rid of this. I'm going to switch back into text mode. Yep, so question 4 screen. This is question 4. Get rid of that guy. And this is all good. And then I'll set the final screen after that. Now I need to make sure question 4 actually runs. How does question 3 get called? Well, if I go down here, right, when we click on an answer for question 2, question 2b, one sec. Here's the question. On the question 3 screen, when we click on something, that's when our question 3 method gets executed, right? So I'm on question 3 screen, which I set in question 2. I click on button A, and then I run question 3 with button A. I need something similar for screen 4. So I can actually just shrink these. This whole chunk here for question 3, I'm going to click, hold, highlight, and I'm going to hit Control C or Command C if you're on a Mac. And you see my little dot thing? You can press down on the arrow key. I'm going to hit paste, and I get to copy all of that without even going into text mode if I want. I'll go into text mode just to do this faster. Okay, and then now I should have my, so on event button 4, B was touched, which would be on screen 4. What do I execute? Well, I don't want to execute that, right? I'm going to switch all these. I can change the comment to question 4. And now it should run my question 4 method. And what's in my question 4 method is what we just did up here when I copied and pasted. Here's question 4, and question 4 adds to the final tallies and ends up with a result. There we go. Wow, that is a lot. I messed these up. I don't want button here. I want image for A, image for B, image for C, image for D. There we go. Woof. All right, let's try that again. Basketball, biking, running, or competitive eating. But what's your favorite sport? Definitely choosing competitive eating, and it's going to end in that result. Cool. So now we also added another question. The final thing, try to create a nested conditional in order to make the scoring more complicated, or whatever they said. Now guys, keep in mind a nested conditional just means an if inside of an if. So maybe, for example, just a real easy one, I only want to show display answer 3. I want to make sure these are all true, right? That I've selected this more than that, more than that, more than that. Sure. But maybe I also want to make sure that I could also say, for some reason, if I wanted, I could do a nested conditional where if they were actually, so just in case, if result 2, though, is exactly equal to 1, and result 3 is exactly equal to 2, maybe I actually want to show, I don't know, question display answer 2, right? That's kind of a peculiar situation. Else, or maybe I want to do an else if, get rid of this else, and then also do a else if result 3 equals 4. For some reason, I want to run display answer 1, right? Something like this is how you could have a nested conditional. And then, of course, I would still want to display 3 as the default. So, boom. And that's all they mean by a nested conditional. Woof! That was a lot of code. I hope you are proud of yourself and have an awesome game. Boom. Cool. Onward.